6 million ways to die. Choose one.
As we were saying, your mom is from Zimbabwe, your dad is Chinese, right? So in the culture of the Chinese people and in the culture of the Zimbabwe people, the heritage that you can find, as you can see today, the carnival, can you see that it's celebrated in Zimbabwe or in China?
No,
not really. Okay, what sort of things that they celebrate then in China, for example?
I know they celebrate like the Lunar New Year. There'll be celebrations like depending on your religion or your beliefs in that. There's going to be Buddhist holidays. There's going to be Confucian holidays.
Okay.
It's kind of dependent. But
does that consist of the same thing that you see here at the carnival? Loud music, skimpy dressing, smoking, drinking. Would you say it's the same thing?
I haven't been, so I couldn't say, but
you haven't been?
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
Okay.
I don't think so.
What about what you saw in Notting Hill Carnival? Because you did make mention you've been there before, right? So, is that what happens at Notting Hill Carnival?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So,
a lot of things happening.
When you say carnival, it's always associated with drinking, half-naked women, smoking, drinking. Do you know what I mean? So these are things that normally happens. So on the Zimbabwe side of things, then, how do you measure the same thing that happens in the Zimbabwean culture when it comes to carnival? Would you say you've seen that sort of things happen in the Zimbabwean culture?
Not that I can think.
Do you know some of the cultures from Zimbabwe?
Yeah, but I don't know what big events are being celebrated
Okay.
I don't know.
But you know more about your dad's side than your mom's side. Okay, that's fine. So, question then. Carnival, we hear it all the time for many years, right? Where did it come from?
As far as I know, in the Caribbean. I think Trinidad, but I'm not sure. I know there's a big tradition of...
But there's a big one in Trinidad, right? There's also a big one in Brazil.
Yeah.
There's also a big one in Portugal.
Yeah.
There's another big one in America. I think they call it the Jamaica something. I can't remember, but again, it's linked to the Caribbean again.
Yeah.
Likewise here, it's linked to the Caribbean. That's how it all started, Notting Hill Carnival. That's how it all started. Now, if I could show you a snippet of where it was not first, but one of the first places where it was instituted, or it started with our people.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
Watch this. So this is the Greek captivity, the time of the Greek, because you had the time of the Romans, the time of the Persians before that, the time of the Babylonians before that as well. But this is the time of the Greeks, all right? 2 Maccabees 6 and 6.
2 Maccabees 6 verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath.
Because the Sabbath day was given to the people, the children of Israel, to keep and celebrate, right? So it wasn't lawful at that time to observe our own culture, our own heritage, right?
Sabbath day or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So it wasn't lawful to even call yourself a Jew. Read.
And in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraints.
Because every month the king celebrated his birthday. This is the Greek king now, right? He celebrated his birthday every month. So for example, if he's born on the 5th of a month, every 5th of every month he's celebrating it as a birthday. Read.
To eat of the sacrifice, and when the feast of Bacchus
was
kept.
It's the same word for carnival. Bacchus, carnival, bacchanal. It all goes into the same traditions of the Greeks. You understand? Read.
The Jews were compelled to go in possession to Bacchus carrying ivory.
So the Jews at that time, they were forced to go in to partake and to keep the same custom that the Greeks forced them into, which is Carnival. Right?
Verse 8. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathens by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashion, and be partaker of their sacrifices.
So, instead of us keeping our own culture, heritage, we were now forced to do their customs. Do you understand? So, today in 2025, and for whatever date that it started, Carnival, I'm talking about, that was never our culture. That was never our custom. This was someone else's custom that was forced upon us, that we had to partake in, and over time, guess what? It becomes our culture. Because in slavery, because at this time they were forced into enslavement as well, forced to do whatever we were told to do. Same thing in the 1619 transatlantic slave trade. Do you understand? They were forced to do everything that the heathen told them to do, or else if they didn't, they would be whipped to death, killed. You understand? Hung from trees. So today, guess what? Those things are imprinted in us to keep these things, and we now saying that it's our culture. You understand? Which it's not our culture. That was forced upon us. Does that make sense? So this is a culture that we're celebrating it, but we don't know the roots of it. We don't know, how it started, but yet still we will partake in it. What's your thoughts on that?
Very interested. I've not had that perspective before.
That's it. I mean, a lot of people don't know, and we like to ask the question why, because knowledge is key, knowledge is power, and the more you know something, it's good to know it, so you can either decide then fully, is it something that I should be celebrating or should not be celebrating? You understand? But I appreciate the short time that you've given us, and that's a brief history on the take on what Carnival is about, and why do people celebrate it today.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word, His word, His word, His word.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today.